Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with new kill team. So this new kill team contains new Mandrakes for Dark Eldar and new Night Lords for Chaos Space Marines. In this video I'm going to be tackling the Night Lords. Now I have done Night Lords on my channel a bunch of times before, so I didn't really know what to do to make this more interesting or not just be repeating myself over and over again. So an interesting topic did pop up during the week where I was once again talking to my friends and praising the Too Thin Coats range of paints. I really do enjoy using them. If you've watched my Grail Night week or my Questing Night week where I painted up a bunch of nights in a bunch of different color schemes, when I got to the layering stage of those projects, I switched and used pretty much exclusively Too Thin Coats paint. I love the color you get with them. It's so beautiful. And someone pointed out that you hadn't used them on any flat surfaces yet. No power armors, no nothing. And I was like, oh, I haven't actually done that. I haven't tested them on kind of more 40k stuff. I've used them on a lot of natural tones, so lots of fabrics, lots of cloth, skins, leathers, that kind of thing. And I found them really useful there. So in this video, I'm going to try and paint a Night Lord up using nothing but Too Thin Coats range of paints. We're going to see what I can achieve with those. So this should be a fun video. Before I get into the video, I just want to say a huge thank you to my patrons. You guys are awesome and you keep these lights on and the cameras rolling. If you are interested in getting involved with that, there are links in the description below. You get access to an extra video every single day. I do a small mini vlog series where I talk about what I've done throughout the day, plans for the rest of the week. You guys can then chime in and help me kind of direct and decide what I want to do, colors to use, and what content you guys want to see. So if you want a hand in controlling what I put out there into the world, then Patreon is the place for you. Any level will get you access to that, except for, of course, the free membership. You also get access to a private Discord server where you can talk to me on a daily basis about your hobby and get involved with extra events like painting competitions. So if those things are interesting in you, like I said, in the description below. Okay, without further ado, let's get stuck in to this Night Lord. So this is the Night Lord that I have chosen. I didn't choose the Sergeant or anything like that. I chose the guy with the awesome double-bladed lightning claws, very Night Lord-esque. The example they gave had him with an unhelmeted head, but I thought that one looked more like a Raven Guard than a Night Lord, so I decided to give him one of the traditional winged bat helmets with the big nasty maw. He definitely looks like a terror troop from the Horus Heresy, and that's the kind of style of Night Lord that I really enjoy. These are the blues that I decided to go for from the Duncan Rhodes Too Thin Coats. Abyssal Blue, what is it called? Witching Blue? Witching Horror Blue? Witching Horror? I don't know. And then Leviathan Blue. They are nice tones. I can't remember whether they come from the first wave or the second wave of the paints. I've kind of mixed them all up at this stage and I'm not really sure which one is which. And I basically just started applying the base color onto the miniature. Now, like I said, I have used the Too Thin Coats of range extensively. Outside of Games Workshop, there is no paints range that I have used more than this. And I keep reaching for it every time I want to do some painting. I do a lot of it when I'm on stream, or I tend to have a rule, which is when I'm painting Games Workshop miniatures, I stick to Games Workshop paints, because other people who are watching the videos and want to follow along will traditionally have Games Workshop paints with their miniatures. It's not everybody, of course, it's not a catch-all, but I feel like statistically more people will have those, so it will make it easier. But sometimes, and every now and again, I just like to paint for me, and then I'll just grab whatever paint I want from whatever range I want, and I tend to grab these more often than not. You saw me start to apply the base coat blue with a small brush, realizing it was just going to take extra time that I didn't need to waste. So I grabbed a larger medium flat dry brush and I just went to town applying that first coat of blue, the Abyssal Blue, all over the Night Lord, which is a really nice dark navy blue. I think it fits the Night Lord aesthetic perfectly. Really like this. And this isn't exactly about getting a perfect Night Lord, because obviously the one kind of detracting thing about the Too Thin Coats range of paint is they're limited in the number of paints. Now they are growing. They're wave 3 coming out now, which I think will push them over the 100 mark of paints. You know, when you talk about things like Vallejo and Games Workshop, who have 300, 400, 500 paints a piece, you can pretty much get any color you need. So whether or not I have the exact tone for Night Lord armor, or for lightning, or for glowing eye lenses, I don't know. I will do my best as I go through. But like I said, it's not really about getting the perfect Night Lord. It's about testing these paints on power armored miniatures, and I just so happen to have a beautiful new sculpt of Night Lord that came with the new Kill Team box. Games Workshop very kindly set me out to use as my example. So that's what I did. After that, I grabbed my mid-tone and I started painstakingly layering up the flat armor panels. I say painstakingly because this is usually the bit of the painting that annoys people. And it doesn't for me. I don't know what it is, but I find it very therapeutic layering miniatures. The base coats and washes stage, you know, it doesn't take a lot of time, but I don't enjoy that stage. Once that's dry and I get to pick it up and I start, you know, carefully layering things and start pulling, you know, this particular part for, like, focusing on a face or teeth or guns or weapons or whatever, I start to enjoy myself a hell of a lot more. And that's exactly what happened here. As soon as I started breaking apart all the different armor panels and getting that blue to the kind of tone that I wanted to have it, I was really enjoying it. And obviously the Tooth & Co's range of paints was working perfectly. I was getting smooth, consistent coats, really nice matching tones. I know people have said that the triads that they brought out weren't exactly perfect, and I think Ninjon did a video on it saying that they just weren't triads. I just disagree. Obviously he is a much better painter than I am, and he understands tones and stuff a lot better than I do. But me, as just like an army painter or someone who's just trying to get nice, consistent miniatures on the tabletop, I think they work perfectly. This is the blue jump up that was a little bit too high, and I couldn't just start like layering up the armor panels at the highest points because I think it would shift it more towards an ultramarine. So what I tried to do is I just use it to do very subtle kind of lightning effects on some of the armor. Not something you would know at a passing glance, but if you picked up the miniature and kind of paid attention, you would see these bits and pieces, which I think is some way an interesting way of doing Night Lord. I mean, I like to think of the Night Lord's lightning as not something that's painted on the armor. It's something that crackles across their armor, just adding to that terror aesthetic. So most of the time, the Night Lords don't have the lightning kind of on, if you will. It's only when they're revealing themselves from the shadows or coming out of to assault and like a dark position, they have the lightning crackle over the armor to once again instill fear. And I think this kind of terror troop here would use that to its maximum effect. So this is the blue basically done, and I'm really happy with how it looks. Now obviously it is just looking like a whole clump of blue now because they haven't broken apart the miniature with all the other details. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to use Spartan Bronze, Dragon's Gold, and I did bring out Glistening Gold as well. We didn't end up going to the final highlight. The base coat and mid-tone were more than enough to give us the correct tone for the gold armor. It's another thing that I haven't kind of played with too much is the metallics. Like I said, when I use the Tooth & Coats of range of paints, I do it a lot on skin, cloth, scales, leathers, all those kind of more natural things. Hence why I've used it so much on my Bretonnians, and when I'm painting orcs and stuff, I love using this range of paints. I have so much fun with it. And now it is finally good to reach out and try something a little bit more uniform. Like I'm very tempted to try a Tau now with this kind of scheme. See if there's some nice ochre tones in there, or maybe try a Farside Enclave red one. I think that would be super nice to try, and see if I can get those nice clean lines across a battle suit, or maybe just a standard Fire Warrior or a Breacher. If you guys are curious and do want to indeed check out and try these paints out for yourself, and you live in England, you can use my Element Games affiliate link down in the description below. They have it available and they give it at a little bit of a discount. It will cost you absolutely nothing, but I will get a nice little kickback. So it's up to you if you want to decide to use that, or if you use Element Games to purchase anything at any time. Using my code will of course help the channel out greatly and cost you not a cent more. So just thought I'd throw that out there. You never know. So here I'm adding the second coat of the gold, the highlight, which is the Dragon's Gold, which once again applied really nice, acted as a really nice highlight to the Spartan Bronze, which we started with. And as you can see, I'm moving quite fast and just doing kind of a scratchy stabbing motion with the gold, which is giving me the kind of effect that I want. I mean, I personally don't know whether I would have gone with the amount of gold trim that does exist on Chaos Space Marines. I mean, I feel like things like the Emperor's Children might have a lot of gold. That's about it really. Not a lot else would I think have it. More utilitarian, and because these guys are like stealth specialists and terror troops, I don't know whether gold is the color they would do, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should have done it in a brass or a really dark bronze, or I don't know. Okay, so we're working up the red details now. You can't really have a Night Lord without splashing some red on it. So I decided to go through the three reds, starting with the Berserker red. And obviously he's got a tabard down the front, so I decided to do that in red. I did give his giant big bat wings the red color. In this particular Kill Team box set, they seem to have changed the aesthetic for Night Lord's winged helmets and decided to go with like dark bronze, or like the kind of up and metallic. I really like the red bat wings on their head. Once again, I know it doesn't really play well into the whole
stealth thing when you see a giant pair of red bunny ears above walls and behind barricades, but I just think it looks awesome. It adds into that kind of horror technique that they use for war. And then of course the shoulder pad iconography, the winged skull for their legion. I decided to paint that whole thing in red as well. After that we go up to Sanguine Scarlet, and then we're going to start layering up the red detailed parts. Once again, taking our time, adding in that kind of contrast, leaving the shadows nice and dark and trying to hit the higher areas with the next coat of red. Night Lords is, by the way, my favorite Chaos Space Marine Legion ever since I read the Aaron Dembski-Bowden Night Lord series. If you have not read that omnibus and you do indeed like reading about Chaos Space Marines, please do read that. In fact, I didn't like reading about Chaos Space Marines until I read that. I basically have a rule that if Aaron Dembski-Bowden writes it, I read it. And then it got to a Chaos series, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll give Chaos a try, and end up absolutely falling in love with his series. It's unbelievable. Learning all about First Claw and their epic adventures. So like I said, if that's something that interests you, if Night Lords is your thing and you haven't read that book, nothing will make you happier. And ever since then, I've been my primary kind of Chaos faction. I've got about 2,000 points fully painted Night Lords, so this gang will indeed fit in nicely with them. But will the tones match that well? I don't know. I haven't actually put him next to one now. I probably should have done that at the end of this video, but I forgot. Maybe I'll do it as an Instagram post over the next couple of days. You can see a comparison between a Citadel painted one and this one. Jumping up to the final highlight of red, which is Demon Red. Now, I, for some reason, thought I was going to do his eye lenses in purples, and that's why they haven't been painted up until now. But then once again, referring back to lots of artwork, I realized they are red. So the 3 stages that I just did across this armor and cloth and wings and all those bits and pieces, the reds, I did those on the eye lenses now off camera just to catch up with myself and make sure they got the right tones on them. I also didn't really know how the demonic maw in the middle of his helmet is supposed to be painted. So once again, I had to refer back, realize that it should really have been the same kind of gold detail. So obviously off camera, I went back and repainted that and made that match the rest of those bits and pieces. You can see me taking my time with the chapter symbol. Gotta treat that with a bit of reverence and get it painted up. We're going to work now and break up all of the blue and red. So the brown cutting straight through the middle of the miniature is a great way of doing this. His belt, and of course this feeds around into 2 different pouches, one on either side, and through the belt loop on the front. Once again, it just adds a very simple piece of detail, and like I said, I used the Duncan paints for that. Scorched brown was the base coat, and then I jumped up to another brown that I'm sure I'll show in a moment as a mid-tone. Didn't bother with a highlight. I didn't want to draw too much attention away from the kind of blue and the gold. I think I could have probably pushed lightning a little bit more in this miniature if I wanted to add a bit more detail. And then obviously his right shoulder pad should be given some sort of markings to distinguish what kind of squad he is in. Because I haven't got the rest of them built and painted and I don't really know what direction I'm taking them just yet, I decided to not add that detail on just yet. I don't want it to clash with any of my other Night Lord squads. I know they all have unique squad emblems, which I've taken from the Chaos transfer sheet. I don't know if there's any particular ones left to put on these guys. I need to check that. But I was nearing the kind of end of the painting process, remembering that this is a basic trooper. This is just a Night Lord Space Marine. It's not a Lord, it's not a Terminator, it's not a Chosen. So you add as much detail as you so choose, but if I'm going to paint up the rest of this 10-man squad as a little side project and add it to my Night Lord's army, then I can't be spending 50 hours on each model. So quick, easy and effective steps, I think, are the way forward to try and banish your piles of opportunity, or whatever you want to call them. For me, it's still shame. Here's me adding a little bit of shade into the gold in the mouth just to break it up. I also decided to add some Black Templar contrast, and I basically pin washed that around the model into some like nooks and crannies and crevices and broke apart the golds to the blues and stuff. It's a very simple step, it's just a pin wash, but it worked a treat, and that gave me this kind of finished Night Lord Terror Troop. I'm really happy with how he turned out. As an experience using the Tooth and Coat's range, I have absolutely no bad things to say. Like I said, the range of paints will only get better with time. Now I was going to add a little bit of blood effect, but that is the only bit where it falls down. I don't think the Two Thin Coats range of paint, their blood effect is very good at all, not compared to the Games Workshop one. So I decided to leave blood effect off him right now, but I might go back with the Games Workshop one now in a bit and add some blood to his claws and armor and stuff, and maybe dribbling down his base just to finish him off. But here's a couple of still images, and I decided to be a little bit sinister with some of my last pictures and add in his poor next victim. So you have this brave Cadian foot troop slogging it through a war zone and unfortunately being hunted by this Night Lord, and I'm fairly sure his life is about to come to a very abrupt and bloody end.
Okay guys, and there we have it. A new Night Lord is finished up, ready for the tabletop. I just need to get the rest of the guys from his squad ready and I can jump in and play some kill team with this guy. More than likely I'll use him for boarding action because I prefer that game system. Really happy with the result. It did work a treat. Nice colors, nice, yeah, it works. I definitely enjoyed using the Two Thin Coats once again. It was a little bit slow at the start with the base coat, so I decided to kind of push those with a large brush and just get a dark coat of blue on to begin with. And then I jumped up into mid-tone and highlights I used for the lightning, which I think was quite a clever thing to do, but it's a little bit subtle, but I like it. Let me know what you guys think about this range of paints and being used for power armor. And let me know if there's anything else you would like me to test this range of paints on. I'm always more than happy to stretch my wings and try new things with this range of paints because I am thoroughly enjoying them. Wave 3 cannot get here quick enough. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give the video a like, ask me any question you want in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any and all future updates, including a Titan giveaway, which I am doing later this year. The only thing you need to do to be with a chance of winning a Titan is to subscribe. Okay guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.